I've struggled a lot with self-love, and I think that's why I work with cacao, because it's also my medicine. Always come back to to self-love.
Welcome back to the Pyramids Podcast. I'm your host, David Kahn, and today we have an incredible woman. She's very charismatic. She is absolutely adorable. One of the best performers I've met in my life. We have the cacao queen of Southeast Asia, Luciana Mesquita. How is it going today, Luciana?
Oh my God! That introduction was amazing.
Yes. I used to work at monster truck rallies. I'm joking, of course. But yeah, I can put it on. I just got that. I've done podcasting a lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And I could already feel it. My podcast spidey senses are saying, we're going to laugh a lot during this episode.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so
Already.
This one's going to be fun.
Amazing. I love fun.
We've done episodes on spiritual awakening and, the deep embodiment work and that whole thing. This one is just like,
Exactly.
let's have fun. Let's drink chocolate. Let's laugh and let's sing songs.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's really what we're talking about today is laughing, having fun, singing songs, and drinking that rich Mesoamerican beverage that does such magical things. Can you tell us a little bit about cacao?
Cacao. It's funny because I'm from Brazil. And, cacao originally comes from the forests of South America, and then it migrated to Central America. And there in Central America is where cacao ceremonies began by the Olmec people around 4,000 years ago. And I had to move to Bali, to the other side of the world, to find cacao ceremonies. when I moved here 8 years ago. Isn't that funny?
That's hilarious.
So I've always been a big fan of chocolate. Actually, not even fan, like addicted. But I didn't consciously know why I loved it so much. And I think most of the world population just loves it, but doesn't understand why they love it so much, right? But cacao is a heart opener, as you know.
Yeah.
And that sensation when we eat chocolate, right? That and exactly.
More.
Yeah, and of course, for cacao ceremonies, we use raw cacao, pure cacao, not so many like bad and unhealthy things mixed, like most of chocolates in the world. Right. So that's very, very potent, and it really brings us back to the heart, to our essence. Yeah.
What isn't it? Like, you do say cacao is a form of plant medicine. It's just one that doesn't create drastic hallucinations. But what is it in cacao that has that effect that gets you out of your head and into your heart? Like it's literally like a performance-enhancing drug for heart-based living.
Yeah, it's the theobromine, which is like a cousin of caffeine, but different. So it's it releases oxytocin and dopamine in our brain. So yeah.
You know what I love about you is that you're one of the only people I know in Ubud that just does one thing. Exactly. Everybody else, like I'm a breath-working yogi life coach, and I also can help you with your business too. Yeah. And this is a buffet, and then you're just like, I do cacao, strictly cacao, I know it well. So when you need to get your cacao needs met, come to the cacao queen of Southeast Asia.
But, I don't know how it happened, but I've been, holding cacao ceremonies at the Pyramids of Chi for 6 years. I don't know how it happened because it's like, what? 6 years? It went like this. But now I harvest the fruit of persistence and also just doing one thing, you know? Because then people just come to Bali already like with someone having told them back home, like, you have to do this. You have to do the manifestation cacao ceremony with Luciana. So I get messages almost every day, like, when is your next cacao? I'm in Bali,
Yeah.
From people that I don't know, but that really warms my heart.
Oh. And those are lovely. Manifestation cacao.
Yeah.
I believe yeah, you do them quite regularly, like once a month here at the pyramids.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I want to make sure I can make the next one because the one I made was just like, well, I guess I've heard you now twice because we did a live stream and I was
Yeah.
alive for that. And that was the first time that just blew my mind. And then I actually came to one with
Yeah.
like people. And it's just like the energy you bring to that. And not just you, but you also your Bramley, which is a band, family, and friends.
Friends, Bramley.
Yeah.
Yeah. We created that that word.
Well, it's like it's redefining relationships, right? It's like what do you call the people that you're closest to and you serve your life purpose with, and all these wonderful things.
I'm very biased to speak about my ceremonies because it's like any person talking about what they bring, right? Or what they sell, for lack of a better word. But I think why people love it so much is that aspect of like the real sense of community. Because the people who are playing with me are like my best friends, my partner. And yeah, my beloved like Bali family, and people can feel it. And and we don't take it so seriously. And we laugh a lot and we joke. And at the same time, it goes super deep, as you know. So it's like we don't have to be serious
Yeah.
to be spiritual per se.
Well, that's the thing. It's like how much more hard do people make it by staying serious? What's that? Have you heard this quote? It's great. It's just like if you want to learn something, you got to do it 400 times or 20 times if you're having fun. So literally, there's like a correlation between committing something to memory, a new pattern, a new habit, and having fun.
Yeah.
So it's like if you want the there's two ways you can do this. It's like you can like crawl down the jungle, or you can take the fun slide.
Exactly. And when you're having fun, when people are having fun, because like most of the people who come to the ceremonies, they've never have been to a cacao ceremony.
God.
And then like
Do you do before and after pictures?
I should. But I think the fact that we are really relaxed and having fun and we are with our family and there's no seriousness, I think it's people relax so easily because like then there are no armors, like
No.
it instantly breaks the ice, like the first joke, and we're like they can feel that we are friends and family, and then that's it.
I mean,
Then-
I feel it right now.
exactly. Yeah.
I feel like we're just chit chatting. There happens to be microphones in our face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing is that lightness.
Yeah.
Because, it's like, oh, one way to take the armor off is sort of like, what is the thing that's coming up right now? What is the imprint that caused this? And it becomes this like mind quest, or it's just like take the armor off and have fun.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
when you're in an environment like the one you cultivate, it's sort of like the field effect becomes so strong to just basically have fun that even the most serious people that might have wound up in that room,
Yeah.
they're kind of like they're feeling it, and it's peer pressure in a way, the subtle peer pressure. If everyone else is doing this, I better have fun too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the key, like after cacao, the key element is music.
Yeah.
Because also music it's not logical, right? So it's another thing. So first the cacao, right? And then the music that is like doing something to people. They're not in their minds while they're singing or while they're listening to those words like beautiful mantras, right? Like self-love mantras, repetition. So yeah, I guess we've created like how do you say
Formula.
a formula that
Works.
that really
Just
really works.
That's
Yeah.
it. It's a formula that works.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and I'm very grateful to music.
I know
Yeah.
you have like a scientific leaning from the way that you describe cacao. Like it's super cool. So we're mostly water, and water carries information. So the cells of our body, they kind of have like information in a way, right? And so when we repeat words, it reprograms the cells of our body. When we repeat words that are being sung, it vibrates and reprograms even faster. And I have to say that not only do you perform very well as a Bramley, but the selection of words are so easy and so uplifting and positive that anybody can sing along.
Exactly.
Nobody in that room is not singing.
Exactly.
Every single person in that room is singing. Even the people that probably would go, oh, I don't want to sing. I can't sing. I don't really have a voice that I work. I'm
Yeah.
not creative. You know, like all those crappy limiting
Yeah.
beliefs that
Yeah.
people tell themselves. None of that is present.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
None of that is. Yeah, some people like they're more shy, but you still see like their lips moving.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Not
yeah.
me. I'm just belting it like a bear.
Yeah,
in
I
there, you
know. I love those.
I love that.
I
It's just
love
like,
those.
oh yeah.
Last session there were two American girls like they were screaming. They were not singing. They were screaming, and they had so much breath, like their arms would go like, and we're like, and they're still, oh, you know. And then at the end, I'm like, come on, sing with us, like be part of the Bramley. But they're like, no, we don't live here. But yeah, it's amazing when everyone's singing. Yeah, it's yeah. In every cacao ceremony, we feel like we feel what it is to be one with everyone else.
Yeah.
Because up to then, it's more like a theory, like a mental concept. But when you're there, then you really feel it. Because people, when they're sharing, they share things from the depths of their hearts. So many vulnerable shares, and they've never seen us. You know,
Or anyone else in the room.
or anyone else in the room, right? Yeah. So
So, the perfect formula is obviously really yummy cacao. Telling some jokes to kind of loosen people up and get them laughing. Laughing helps.
yeah, but only if it's natural to you, right? Because maybe someone that is not good with jokes, it would be a bit pushing, or you know what I mean. It would be
your cacao
yeah,
ceremony.
yeah.
Everyone, I mean, Robin and Nicole run their own cacao ceremony, which is very different than yours. Also very potent, but they have a different formula.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
The cacao tastes different too, by the way.
So what I would say, the formula is, of course, the cacao, the music, the real sense of community, because we're not like, oh, let's be professional, let's form a band. It was like, oh, you're my friend, and then teach me how to play the guitar. Okay, let's play together.
You're at
and
my
then
house with a guitar. Let's do something.
exactly,
Yeah.
like my neighbor plays something. Do you want to come and play cacao ceremony with us? It's really like a community, and I guess the playfulness for sure. But that it's crazy, because if you hear that, you would think, oh, so then that's not deep. But that's actually what brings people to open up and go super deep, and to trust
And the other
and to
thing
relax.
too is that when they experience oneness, like that lasts usually like after the event too. It's like you've given them like a very palpable dose of something that even, you know, if it fades off because old habits come back or anything like that, they've tasted that once. And it awakens a part of people that can't really go back to sleep. You know, if anybody's really been like, I had an experience of true communion and true like heart-based living, I'm gonna go back to my head and ignore people. It sounds like a great idea. Nobody does that on
Yeah.
purpose, right? It's
Yeah.
just we kind of get conditioned through various factors, and we end up there, and we don't even see what other possibilities are there. So you taste a delicious possibility.
For sure, a very deep and beautiful seed is planted, because it was also my case when I came to Bali. Then I attended my first cacao ceremony, and then I was like, whoa, what is this? Like this.
We're in your backyard, you know, in South America your whole time. You had to go over across the ocean to find it.
That's crazy. Yeah, and that, and also a strong sense of like, I am limitless. I shouldn't like make myself small, or I shouldn't like tell myself that I can't do certain things, because I didn't even know I sang when I came to Bali. Like I was singing when I was a kid, a teenager, in a choir, my like mom's church and stuff. And then I never sang again. And then more than a decade after I came to Bali, And I had no idea that I could still sing, you know. And then one day I was like just dreaming without singing, without knowing how to play any instrument. Like, oh, it would be nice if one day I had like a kirtan band, you know. And then next thing, I'm going to these attending these cacao ceremonies and singing and like going there every week because I'm like I'm loving it. And then my voice is back without planning it, with you know. And then next thing is like, oh, I need to learn the guitar because then I can sing more, right? And yeah, and then the people who were holding the ceremonies here, they moved. And then I was like, okay, so there's got to be someone to hold those ceremonies now. Okay, I'll do it. So it was like nothing planned, but I guess each time I went there, I connected with this side of like, okay, we are one. We are also divinity. We are limitless. We can do anything. And also in a very unpretentious and playful way without like having all planned and it has to be like this. And then all of a sudden they're gone. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to start holding ceremonies, you know. So, yeah.
It sounds like, you know, that form of manifestation. I truly think this is the only way manifestation works, is that if we like pick up on the thread of a dream that is like actually the divine seeding within us. So it's actually like what is perfect for us, right? Because there's so many people out there that try to use like the law of attraction to make more money. And that the reason it doesn't work for them, I believe, is because they're not actually going deep enough with what's right for them. It's not actually the thing that they want. It's their mind that thinks they need money, but their body knows that it longs for something else. And maybe, you know, money's a side effect. They need a little bit more money too. But when we really kind of like set our aim and we lock into like what that dream is, sometimes it's so different than anything we've experienced and it's new. So we don't know what it is, but we start to follow the breadcrumbs.
Exactly. Because many times you don't know it, but you're like following your joy and following the love. And then, oh my God, I'm loving this. I want to do it again. And I want to do it again. And then all of a sudden, you have an invitation, you know?
Yeah.
Like my first cacao ceremony was in Budapest. My friend was doing a festival in Budapest. My partner was going to talk in the festival, and she knew that I was like a lover of cacao ceremonies because I was attending every week. And then she's like, don't you want to hold a cacao ceremony for our festival? And I'm like, sure. Just find someone who can play well because I'm still learning the guitar. I play really, really crap, but I'm up for it. And then my first cacao ceremony, I think there were 60, 70 people in the room and they were all crying. See, like in my case, I didn't even, you know, there was no head in it. It was just like, I love to do this and I'm going to keep doing it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the right energy to do anything. Right?
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting because it's like our consciousness doesn't know the boundaries of space and time. Right? And so if our consciousness hooks on to something that feels really, really good, and that we just like stay with that feeling, then it just causes whatever the gap is in our physical reality to just kind of like doot, doot, doot. And we might end up, you know, maybe there's something a bit challenging to go through, but our consciousness is locked into that joy and bliss. Yeah. And so then our reality starts to shift. Yeah. And these opportunities, you're in the right place at the right time. And then, hey, do you want to do this? It's like, oh, cool. It's like a surprise. The best kind of surprise.
Yeah, yeah. I just love it. And if I hadn't followed also my heart and moved to Bali, because I had been to Bali 2.5 years before I actually moved here, and it just touched my heart in such a beautiful way that I can't find words to explain what Bali did to my heart. Mm-hmm. And I was here just for 2 weeks, like a vacation. But I'm like, I'm gonna live here. I wanna live here. So sometimes we just have to jump off the cliff, you know, like and in those times, most of the time, it doesn't make any sense to jump off. It's like, what? You're living your comfortable life. You're living your beautiful job. Like, because I didn't, like, my family is beautiful. It's not like I was running, not that my life was bad, but there was this calling, like, Bali, 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 Bali. So if I hadn't listened, maybe I would not have this path with cacao, even though I was in Brazil.
Surrounded by cacao, you couldn't even see it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And most of the times it doesn't make sense, right?
So in many ways, this path opened you up. Because I mean, I only know you as this like really kind of divine, light, bubbly, like super joyous person. But I imagine that you've had your own journey in life too.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you mentioned that you sing so beautifully now, but like you mentioned, there was a part of life where you didn't sing at all, and you didn't even like think about singing.
Yeah, yeah, crazy.
It is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, those things that I don't know, there's a time in life that you start looking at other things so you can become someone, and then you leave the very things that you love, or you know what I mean? Like,
That leads to self obsession in a
usually,
way,
yeah,
because
usually,
we're looking for something that's like this identity that we're chasing, and we become obsessed with it, and then it's like, what if I let go in the process? That's the only time where we go, what if I lost in this quest that goes, oh, nowhere?
yeah, yeah. It's just beautiful, like how all the dots connect. And when you speak about manifestation and the manifestation cacao ceremony here at the Pyramids of Chi, so many people write me or like email me or message me saying that they manifested something, or like that I planted the seed. Oh, now I'm starting to get guitar lessons, and many have nothing to do with music or cacao, but look, just like feeling that, that energy of like limitless potentiality and tapping into that maybe for the first time, but like being reminded of that very very strongly, like I can be or do whatever I want. And like from that spark, like then they're like, okay, I can do this. And then yeah, that's a well, super super rewarding.
Yeah. It, I mean, I have a lot of sympathy for people because I've been there in my life too, where you don't have the clarity to even dream big enough, right? Because you've have self-imposed limitations or negative thinking or something that basically shrouds those dreams. And so, again, cacao is that chocolatey invitation to, for a period of time, lose all of that, and you can't help but step into an environment where you can dream big enough. And I feel like for me that state of consciousness of invention and creation and manifestation is just so natural in that environment, right? That the manifestation happens because the environment is basically set to get you into that right frequency to dream.
Yeah, I guess it's just we get out of our ways in that environment.
Yeah.
Everything kind of melts and drops, like the
Like the
whatever the
cacao, like the block of
walls.
cacao when it's being made, it melts and drops.
Yeah, but like yeah, it's very beautiful. Like the defenses, the beliefs. Yeah, I think when we get a glimpse of our heart, then nothing else really matters. Yeah.
It's funny because in Ubud, that's what everybody's saying, right? Everybody's saying, "Yeah, we just got to live from our hearts." They say that it's that we that's the kind of the top of the mountain, and then there's many different paths up
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
right? And
yeah.
everybody finds their own nectar.
Yeah.
And for you, yours just happen to be the most, delicious, fun, lighthearted way to go about it.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I've noticed through the years that usually the medicine that we put out is the thing that we need the most.
Yeah.
Right? You can say, "Oh, you're so lovely, you're so loving," and I've always been like a family person. That's why everywhere I go, everywhere I live, I create family and like those solid bonds. But I've struggled a lot with self love. Crazy, huh?
Yeah.
And I think that's why I work with cacao, because it's also my medicine. Always come back to, to self love.
There's a very great teaching because I follow the something called the Gene Keys. And one of the things that the author Richard Rudd writes is that the core wound that we have is actually an imprint we receive when we're in the womb. And it's like something that's a wound that's shared amongst a large amount of humanity. So it's a collective wound. And our life mission is to turn that wound into our vocation. And so that's why what often happens is the thing that we're so drawn to do in the world is also the medicine that transforms us, just as you said.
I get goosebumps when you say this
Yeah.
because it's so true. It is just so true. And I don't know if you've noticed, but my cacao ceremony, it's so much about self-love. So much about self-love and being gentle with yourself and not believing that voice and all these things that have been very, very, big for me.
Totally. Self love, I mean, it gets thrown around a lot, but it is so fundamental. It's like if you don't have that, it's like you're not really going to do anything. You're just going to walk around with like a shell of a human being in a way, right? And I think society, especially Western society, it's so good because it's done this for a very long time at grinding people down into not feeling any self love so that they'll go and they'll sit in an office and they'll work for somebody else. So they'll basically be a cog in a machine that they don't even look at the top of. They just keep their heads down and they just do their thing because they're only willing to accept a small lot.
Yeah.
And so many of the problems that we face socially and environmentally in the world and spiritually as well, come from the fact that the people that are out there in the world, they don't have much self-love.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, like, at least in my upbringing, actually, my, what do you say? What not my society, my culture. My culture, it's like if someone gives you a compliment, you go like, oh no, no, like because that's the polite thing to do. If you like, oh, I love myself, I'm amazing, I'm gorgeous, I'm beautiful, people go, oh my God, you're cocky, like you're full of yourself, like, oh, you think you're better than others, you know. And the same with my partner, he's from Sweden, like you cannot be outstanding there, you have to be average, otherwise people are like. So I think, I mean, of course, upbringing, so many things, but yeah, so many things like go against self-love. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's why we find, you know, places where the other weirdos hang out.
Exactly.
Because we're all looking at each other and like, yeah, that other thing we were a part of it, like, wasn't really working for any of us, was it? No, 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 no.
This is why Bali touched me so deeply, because I felt like I could relax. I can relax here. There's no expectations. There's no pressure for you to be anything other than what you are. No expectations. And then that relaxation, because I've always been like a pleaser, and like if someone wants something from me, my tendency is to instantly, how do you say, fulfill their expectations. And so I've never really existed. So here in this like very, very relaxing space where no one is like wanting you to be anything, zero pressure, then I could start like relaxing and like, okay, so like, okay, who is this person? Like, yeah, what do I want? What are my gifts and all these things?
Kind of the joy of hanging around conscious people, if you're, normally when people are unconscious and you're a people pleaser, they're like, oh, I'm getting my needs met. This is great. I'll just continue to allow this dynamic to play out, even though it's not really serving both of us. But when you're around conscious friends, they go, actually, like, Luciana, this doesn't really feel like you want to do this. And like, it's kind of throwing the dynamic off, right? And they'd be like, oh, and then you'd be like, oh yeah, I'm people pleasing. This is what I actually, oh cool, this is what I want. Now we feel just so more intimately connected. Yeah. And that's sort of like the beautiful thing that I find is that people that relate consciously, it's like they cause us always to deepen that level of connection and intimacy that we have, and can learn so much about ourselves just through simple interactions with other people.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess for me, because I was my family is really close, South American families is like Italian families, like this. It's the most beautiful thing. You feel so safe in this world. They've got your back, but like the downside to it, especially for a person like me, is that like, yeah, they have an agenda for you and you want to please them and all these things. So even though I love them so dearly, I needed that distance to kind of like, okay, what is their agenda? where am I in this, you know? So it was super, super valuable to come to Bali. My mom took it personally. She's like, why do you have to choose the furthest place in the world? Do you wanna like you wanna live the furthest to
Because I get to
us?
discover the thing that's in
Yeah.
her backyard there, obviously.
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah. So funny.
Wow, it's really enriching to hear that about how deeply you connected with your own journey and experience of self-love. Because from what you describe, I kind of know that some cultures have very tight family bonds, and it's beautiful in so many ways, and that beauty sometimes prevents people from looking at the underlying shadowy aspects that don't serve us. And it sounds like you've kind of got the best of it because you're able to take those tight connections but also do them in a way that works for you.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I had to kind of break free and be far from them, even though like I go once a year to visit, they come here, blah blah. But to find that other aspect, like who like to be an individual, like with wants and needs without having to always stand to what people are expecting of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, with the Bramley, it's like you kind of created your own family that everybody got to consciously choose to be a part of.
Yeah. I've had many times people come to me at the end and say, like, I've been to many, many events, but this is the only one that I felt true, the true sense of community. I can feel that you guys are really like, it's true,
Yeah.
It's not that like, oh, we have a ceremony, let's get together, rehearse, and like it's a no, we're friends, therefore we play together and we do it together.
We breathe together in
And
unison.
and today, because I'm here without the Bramley, I'm like, I'm gonna have to play alone. Like, what the fuck? I want to just run because they're not here. I guess that's also it. Like, that's what makes me feel safe. Like having people that I love that can back me, and I create that wherever I go
Yeah.
because I've had my family to do that.
Well, you mentioned you got to play alone. You dropped the ball. The cat's out of the bag, folks. Luciana
Okay.
is going to be performing for us.
Okay, I just have to say that I am not so good at composing music. So I steal my friend's songs. So this is a stolen song about love from my friend Storm. And when I love my friend's song, I come to them and I say, can I record it in Portuguese? And then I translate it, and then I just record it for Brazil, and
Yeah.
and so far they've said yes. So, but I'm gonna sing it in English, of course, because this is it. So yeah.
Translated from English to Portuguese, then retranslated from Portuguese to English. You're getting the rarest version of this song. All right, let's do this.
Okay, so this song, the name of the song is "What Would Love Do," and it's from my friend Storm, who lives in Bali. Close your eyes, go within, feel your heart awakening. Close your eyes, go within, feel your heart awakening. Close your eyes, go within, feel your heart awakening. Close your eyes, go within, feel your heart awakening. I'm never far from where you are, as long as you stay here within your heart. I'm always close, no matter how far you go, as long as you're connected with your soul. Just ask yourself, what would love do now? What would love say now? What would you do if love spoke through you? What would you say if love took all your fear away? Close your eyes, go within, feel your heart awakening. Close your eyes, go within, feel your heart awakening. Close your eyes, go within, feel your heart awakening. Close your eyes, go within, feel your heart awakening. I'm never far from where you are, as long as you stay here within your heart. I'm always close, no matter how far you go, as long as you're connected with your soul. Just ask yourself, what would love do now? What would love say now? What would you do if love spoke through you? What would you say if love took all your fear away? Close your eyes, go within, feel your heart awakening. Close your eyes, go within, feel your heart awakening. Close your eyes, go within, feel your heart awakening.
Wow, you just did it without the cacao.
Without the cacao, without the
Without the
bramley.
cacao, no Bramley, unplugged here in the Healing Hut. Wonderful. Thank you so much for that song. I feel the vibes. Yeah. And thank you for people all over the world that are tuning in that got to get a little bit of a dose.
Can we finish off in this the lyrics of the song, which is, what would you do if love spoke through you? What would you say if love took all your fear away?
I can't really say anything after that. So that's a beautiful point to end on. Thank you so much, Luciana.
Thank you. Thank you so much.